hello. Hi, Sarah Christine. Welcome.
Thank
It's
you.
wonderful to have you here. Um, I just want to dive right in, really. How are you? Let's start there.
That's a great question.
Yeah.
I'm very well, thank you. It's about 10:30 a.m. here in Sedona, Arizona, and it's beautiful out and just enjoying our morning before we go out for a hike.
A hike. Okay, amazing. How
Yeah.
old is your little one?
She will be 4 months old on Wednesday. I gave birth on 4th of July, which is a major US holiday with fireworks and what have you. So that was a surprise and not expected.
Wow. A
Mhm.
surprise so was she earlier than expected or later than expected?
So I went into labor literally like 15 minutes after her due date. I went into labor at like 12:15 a.m. Right. Her
Wow.
due date. Yeah, her due date was July 3rd. And yeah, she was really right on time. And I mean, when you get pregnant, I mean, I didn't think a whole lot about like what my baby's birthday would be. But for it to be 4th of July was just kind of like fun and like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. I didn't imagine that ever happening to have like a holiday baby. So
Amazing, just beckoned in by fireworks and a light
yes,
show. So sounds
yes,
like he likes to make an entrance.
yes, apparently. Well, and of course it was a full moon and so many babies are born around that time with the energy. So yeah.
I'm a full moon baby.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, yeah,
I was almost a full moon baby. I was like a waxing gibbous moon. I was like 2 days before a full moon. So I was almost there.
very nearly there. And it's a full moon today.
Yes, it is.
Yes, yes. So, seeing as we are on the subject of the birthday, I know this is diving straight in, but I'm really intrigued about your birth story. I think every birth story is so fascinating and unique and
Mm,
special. Um, can we start there?
absolutely. And that's something I learned while I was pregnant. And I would be out in public and people would see that I was pregnant. And instantly, women would want to share their birth story. And so I learned so quickly, like, wow, like women really need a space to be able to express themselves and to share and communicate what their experience was like. Because it was just so obvious to me how like women just have this deep need to like to speak, to talk about these things. There's so much that isn't talked about amongst mothers and women about what this whole experience is like. And so I had an in-home birth, unmedicated. One of my midwives, I had two midwives, gave me some herbs later in my labor time to kind of like intensify, not that it needs to be more intense, but to intensify my contractions just to speed things up a bit. I was in labor 13 and a half hours and I labored in water and then pushed her out on our bed in our bedroom here in Sedona. And it was absolutely magical. I did hypnobirthing to prepare because hypnobirthing was really in alignment for me with my spirituality and wanting to keep things natural and to just be more in that meditative space. I feel like that's where so many women get really stuck and caught up in the pain of what's happening or just the fear of, oh, I need to give birth in a hospital because I don't want to like feel anything. So the hypnobirthing really allowed me to not be in my head. Later in my late stage of labor, I did get in my head a bit about something, but it was just my own resistance to like pushing through this threshold, which is like very normal throughout the process. I'm sure you can speak to that as well. Um, but so yeah, I went into labor at 12:15. My first midwife arrived about 3:15. I was already 5-6 centimeters dilated, which shocked me. And she checked me, and I was like, "Wow, okay." I'm like, "This is happening really fast." I was not expecting that, and it took a bit longer until I got to about 9 centimeters, and that was where I like stayed for many hours. But while I was laboring in the tub, like every time I would close my eyes, I would see the moon and stars. And it's like I was connected to this like spiritual portal that opens when a woman is birthing a spirit into our earthly plane. It was just so magical. And every time I closed my eyes during each contraction, that visual and spiritual energetic connection took me through each of them. So it's like time didn't even exist. It was so, so cool. And I'm so grateful that I had the opportunity to birth on my own terms completely. I'm a soul parent, spiritual child, evolutionary educator. And I had done this work personally before I became professionally certified in this work to mentor other women. And had I not done this work, I would not have been as empowered as I was to have this birth, to feel confident to speak my truth and to not go along with society's fears or what medical doctors tell women to do. They don't really give women a choice. They tell women how it's going to be, and it's on their terms. And they completely take the power away from the mother and her experience. And I just can't subscribe to that. I can't agree to those terms. And so I had to do a lot of inner work to really prepare myself to be in this experience consciously and to feel empowered in it and to be able to move through all of the emotions that showed up during my labor and birth and the weeks after in the postpartum period, because it was intense. And like becoming a mother is such a healing experience. It's a spiritual journey, and there's such a sacred bond on a soul level between mother and child. And had I not been conscious of that and just gone through all of this, like I'm sure there would have been so many decisions I would have regretted later on in my life. And so many women go through that, like your mom's group, about like the level of guilt women carry. Oh my gosh, like guilt and shame to me are like the two worst emotions. Like they're so uncomfortable, so yucky to sit in the body, so heavy. They make you feel like you want to like crawl out of your skin. Like they're so uncomfortable to live with day in and day out. So to do that emotional healing work prior to conception, to work on it while you're pregnant. I did many energy healing sessions and therapy sessions while I was pregnant. And then after birth, like doing all that prep work just prepares you so much to move through with grace what's ahead of you on the other side of birth, because there's so much there.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow, there's so much to unpack with what you've just said. What resonated with me particularly was when you were talking about um, having the wherewithal to stand in your power and to have the birth that you want because you've done the work prior to that moment, that you knew what you wanted and you were able to manifest that, or you were able to command it and be in present within it. A lot of the work that I'm interested in is around women really being connected to their menstrual cycle, actually.
Yes.
And really understanding how that there's so much power in that. And there's been a real disconnect. We could have a big conversation about the patriarchy, but I'll keep it focused.
Mm-hmm.
Really understanding what your body's doing and what it's telling you, so that you're not in resistance to uncomfortable feelings, because you have a relationship with your body and what it's doing. So
Mm-hmm.
rather than push, you're listening, and you're not trying to run from the pain. You're with it. You don't abandon yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So I totally, it makes sense that having done the work, you were able to have the birth that you wanted. So I'd love you to speak more on the work that you do with women in getting to that point, and having what does the work look like for you in your practice?
Yeah. So I'm a soul parent, spiritual child, evolutionary educator, and I'm also a licensed soul therapist. Now, most people have never heard of either of those things, and they're like, what is that? So I'm not a coach. So I don't give like things to do and assignments and things like that. The nature of my work is much more like feminine and receptive. It doesn't put people into that like masculine energy of like, oh, I need to like get things done or have like goals to meet. It's none of that. It's very much about just being in the present moment and deep connection, conscious connection, and very soulful, conscious conversation that allows you to connect with yourself on a spirit, soul level, emotional level, mental and physical, so you can just experience yourself, like be with yourself fully and expand from your heart, connect deep to your wound, ground into your body. The soul parent spiritual child work, there are programs that I work with women over Zoom. They're 1 hour sessions once a week. And there's a 3, 6, and 9 month program. And each one is tailored to whatever stage of life that you're in. There's one for seasoned mothers. There's one for preconception. There's one that's focused on like healing mother wounds. Like if you're someone who wants to have a child, or maybe you already are a mother and you have deep mother wounds that you want to heal that are affecting not only your relationship with your own mother or grandmother, but you as a mother to your children. Like what are those deep wounds that need to be cleaned up so that is no longer complicating your ability to connect and be conscious and to be loving. It's all coming back to being an unconditional loving mother and not passing on your stuff to your children, and deeply honoring who they are. It's honoring the spirit of your child. And me personally, like I grew up in a very dysfunctional family dynamic. I lost my parents when I was 18 and 26. And when I was growing up, like I emotionally numbed myself. I developed deep codependency issues, deep self-worth issues, so many things. And when I was living in my home, like the level of stress in there energetically that I took on unconsciously, and also just feeling like something isn't right here. Like this is not normal. This is not healthy. But feeling powerless as a child, like when you're a child, you can't, there's nothing you can do. Like you're under your parents', you know, direction, and what they say goes. So children shouldn't have to grow up in an environment where they feel powerless, where they feel scared, where there's fear, where there's trauma. So as parents, we really need to take more responsibility to do our healing work. Like we as women are so powerful and can really lead our families in a healthier direction. And it starts with us. We need to do our work. We're the ones that bring life into this planet.
Yeah.
It's a very powerful, sacred role for all of us. And I really desire to teach as many women as possible and mentor them on that path of how to become your most vibrant, confident self. Because nobody needs to be living in their trauma and just trying to survive every day. Like we need to get rid of the survival mode stuff that's happening. Like it doesn't serve any of us, it doesn't serve our children, it doesn't serve our planet, and it's not comfortable to live that way. So the teachings that are within these programs, they're deep, they're powerful. They really touch women in a very deep way, in their hearts, their wombs. It helps their heart and womb heal. It helps them cleanse their womb of fear. It helps them heal any backgrounds where they've experienced abuse, like abusiveness in relationships, no matter what relationship that was, whether it's romantic or from the family. And it guides them to really embody deep clarity on what type of family dynamics and family agreements that they desire to create. Because like as women, we're creators. We can create anything we want,
Yeah.
any type of life we want to live. So it goes a lot of different ways.
Yeah. I wanted to jump in and just go back to when you were talking about that powerlessness within the home, because actually so many of us, you know, trauma is kind of relative, right? So what's traumatic for someone else might not be so traumatic for another person. But
True.
you know, I find a lot of us will have stuff to work through. That's the journey of life. I'm interested to hear about what you think about women who aren't yet aware about what they're carrying, because I'm sure what you're saying is, you know, it's so true, but it sounds like, you know, the people that have had really traumatic experiences, and maybe some women won't identify with that, but I'm interested in, you know, having a well, there's no, normal isn't even a word, an apt word for what I'm trying to express, but how do you move forward when you don't, how do you connect with women who don't know they have anything to work through?
Well, you can't help someone who isn't aware, who doesn't want the help. They truly have to come to a place within themselves where they are open and receptive to exploring their life experience and everything that they've moved through in their life, and to process and to heal and to speak about it.
Mm,
So the women who come to work with me, they have a certain level of awareness that, wow, there's some stuff here I need
mm,
to really look at, and I need support in doing that. I need someone to guide me on how to do this. I mean, as much as I would love to be able to really inspire and connect with those women who aren't aware, until they reach a certain point in their life, um, I feel there isn't, I mean, I don't want to say there isn't anything that can't be done. You can still help people, support people, but until they're truly ready to take responsibility and do the work and to become more conscious, um, you know, everyone has their own timeline with that. So to show up with compassion for those women
yeah,
and to empathize and to just be kind and to listen to them, that's enough for them with where they're at
yeah,
sometimes. Mm.
awesome. And what's on the other side of this work? What's on the other side of healing?
Freedom, freedom, emotional freedom to express who you truly are, how you truly are, to be more authentic and confident in how you feel, to have a better intuitive connection, a stronger intuitive connection to the spirit of your child. You can connect to the spirit of your child years before you even conceive. You can connect to them even if they're already born and you have not yet experienced what that connection is like. Um, you will have a lighter heart. Your menses can be a better experience for you, where you see the value and wisdom in what is available to you right within your body and how to honor that. So much more self-love, um, authentic voice, having a stronger voice,
Yeah,
and trusting yourself. That's another big thing with women, especially mothers, is their ability to deeply trust themselves
yeah,
that is lacking. And I see a lot. I mean, you see so many mothers who are fearful and scared to even say anything, to open their mouth, to like express a boundary. There's so many women who keep their voice shut down and don't express boundaries because they're too afraid. And to live with that energy, like I know what that's like. That was so much of my upbringing and watching my mother. That's how my mother lived. And I vowed to myself, I'm like, I don't know what it's going to take for me to get there, but I I will not repeat that. I can't, because
what did
I
it take
know what
you,
it's like.
what did it take for you to get there, for you to find your voice?
Oh gosh, I moved across the country. I was born in Southern Illinois
Okay.
and went to college for a little bit in Kansas City, Missouri, and then I moved all the way to Arizona when I was 19 years old. My mother died from cancer when I was 18, and I was like, I need to get out of here. Like, I need to go find myself. I need to create some space and distance from my dad, who was an alcoholic, and he and I just had a very tumultuous relationship.
Sure.
So I dropped everything. I dropped out of my college. I packed up everything I had that would fit in my truck at the time, and I moved across the country. And I'm like, I need to go find myself. I need to find my truth. I need to figure this out,
Mm-hmm.
whatever that is. And it took, let's see, I think it was 10 years before I connected with my teacher and mentor in Canada, who I've trained with for the last 5 years professionally and personally received her mentorship and wisdom, of how to be like the woman I desire to be, and to learn the tools and teachings of what all that is about, because I never had a role model in my life. So seeking out a role model that truly loved me unconditionally and knew how to step out of the way to allow me to have my own experiences, and to guide me and meet me where I was at in my maturity emotionally and mentally, and to give me so much patience, just patience and love. So finding someone that could really take me under their wing in like the most compassionate way, like changed my life. I've completely changed my life in the last 5 years, and I'm like living the life of my dreams now, and have a beautiful 4-month-old baby girl, an amazing partner. Um, I'm just so deeply grateful the power of one woman could have on my life. I
Right.
mean, I used to work in corporate America. I quit that. It was miserable, not my truth, not my purpose.
Yeah.
So,
There'll be so many
yeah,
women
it's,
watching this who are aware that they're not living their truth in terms of what they do day to day, and um, how they are with their with people they need to relate to on a day to day basis. How important is it to get that right support? How important is our role models? There's a fireworks.
oh.
It's November, right? So, yeah.
um, I mean, it can make or break, in my opinion, in my experience, because I place the highest value on teachers and mentors. I mean, it can make or break your freedom, your happiness of how you desire to live your life. Um, I can't imagine where I would be right now if I had not met my teacher. um, I would probably just feel so stuck, so miserable, like I was, like stuck in my pain body, and I'm free from that now. Um, yeah, I would be depressed, I'm sure. And it's so painful to not live your purpose. It's so painful to not live your truth and speak your truth. And women feel so trapped to live that way day after day after day, and don't see a way out or how to shift things. And one thing that really caught me up is like, I was such a go-getter, such a motivated person, but I was very in my masculine at this time. And I didn't quite understand my feminine and what it meant to like move from the feminine in life and how to make decisions. Um, that I just wanted things to happen, like quick, let's do it. Let's do it right now. I'm going to make all these big changes, and not realizing like the biggest changes come from gradual growth, and to be patient, to
I
be
felt that.
patient with the process.
I felt that. Yeah. I think in the West, a lot of women are in their masculine energy because, we are in that sort of transition period from, you know, moving into a more equal society, but understanding what that is and what that means for us.
Mm.
It's really interesting to see how it's affecting us. I really enjoy listening to you speak about where your value system is, and how you've overcome, and the type of work that you do with women. I'd love to ask you who inspires you.
Well, my teacher in Canada absolutely inspires me. It makes me feel like emotional, the deep um, gratitude I feel for her. I've never met anyone like her. Um, and my life would not be as amazing as it is without her. So she's definitely my number one.
Oh, that's so wonderful. It's
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate, like, you can see how much she means to you, and I can see why you've made this your life's work. The power of tutors, mentors, coaches, whatever you want to call them, and however whatever path you take with this self-development journey, it's never ending, but it's so worthwhile. Like, if you're forever the student, there's always more to learn. There's just so many layers to this. It's just like a continual
Yes.
spiral, round and round, and deeper and deeper and deeper, and closer to self, because that's what it is. It's a journey to you.
Mhm.
And just taking the first step can be powerful. The exciting thing is that the learning curve is exponential at the start, and then it kind of evens
Yes.
out. So I would advise anyone that's thinking about taking the leap, or dipping your big toe in. It's worth it, because it's you becoming more you, and there's nothing more rewarding than being able to be your whole 100% authentic self. um,
Absolutely.
and the fact is, you don't know what you don't know, so you won't be able
Yeah.
to fix a problem with the same level of thinking that you have, and that's why it's important to work with someone. But Sarah Christine, I would love to wrap up with a big question, which is, what is your message? What is the thing that you want to emanate, that you want to like lead with? Yeah, what do you want to share with the world?
We as women have the power to completely change how this planet operates. And the solution to that is to lead with love. And we need to learn how to deeply love ourselves. And what that may mean to you in this moment could be very different a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, to truly understand what that means to deeply love yourself. And I encourage women to continue to dig deeper, even when it's so painful and so challenging and seems like you're never going to get there, but you will. And it is so worth every step of the struggle and pain to get there. And my life story is a testament to that. I've lived it, I have walked it. And I would be completely honored to guide any woman who desires to walk that path and to be by her side.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. It's been
Yeah.
such a great chat. Yeah, I'm really excited to be connected with you, and I'm going to post your details below this post. So
Okay.
if you'd like to reach out to Sarah Christine, you can. You just need to click her link, and you can reach out. And obviously, you can get hold of me. I'm going to be in the group and on here continually. But thank you so much, Sarah Christine. That was such an incredible conversation.
Thank you so much. Thank you for asking me to do this. It's a pleasure to connect with you.
Awesome. You're welcome.